Okay, peeps, welcome back. So today we're going to be talking about LTCN at $16. And can we go higher? This is going to be the LTCN BCHG and HZEN update. Let's get it. So the first thing I want to bring up to y'all is the chart of LTCN. So as you guys can see here, we have everything laid out, the chart itself, the MACD and the RSI. Those of you guys that have been following the channel for a while, you know how we do this. Those of you that are new, these two things down here are indicators, and this is the price actions. So basically what we're looking at here is we're looking at the weekly time frame of LTCN. So something that I'm going to point out to you guys here that I pointed out to you before, we have been overbought on LTCN for quite some time, basically since roughly about 5 weeks ago or so, and it is hitting massively into overbought territory. But again, keep something in mind. When it comes to crypto does not work quite like stocks do. Typically, when stocks get overbought, it usually reverses pretty quickly. With crypto, it could be overbought for a significant amount of time before we see a pullback. So just keep that in mind, okay? As a matter of fact, I'm going to show you guys. Let me actually pull up the price of Bitcoin, and I'll show you what I'm talking about here. So if we go back here in history, you guys can see that on the previous bull run, and we pointed this out before, right after the halving. So the halving was for Bitcoin on the previous cycle was back here in May. In October, we started reaching overbought territory. Basically, when this shade of green pops up, that's how you know we're overbought. So pretty much from right about here, so roughly about 11,000 in October, all the way until roughly about, trying to locate it, so I think roughly about this red candle right here, which was in February of 2021. We were in overbought territory basically for 3 months, or 4 months, sorry. And even then the price was still heavily elevated. So, and it did go back into overbought, and then finally eventually we came out of it roughly about 6 months later. So keep that in mind when, taking a look at crypto here with us on this channel. But so going back to the chart, we're basically going to get into the price now. So the RSI is overbought. Do I think that means do I personally think that means that it's going to sell off? No. I'm not saying this is a buying opportunity. As you guys can see on our portfolio here, we still have our original position. We have not taken any profit. And as a matter of fact, I think at one point this thing had gotten so insane, it was up to like $18, where we were literally almost 5 figures in profit just on this position alone. So with that being said, I don't really see anything on the charts immediately that would indicate that this candle is a reversal. This is actually a bullish candle, just so y'all know. So if it was bearish, we would have closed red below basically this now support zone. It would have indicated that this was still holding at resistance, but we did not see that. Generally what you would want to see is like a really long wick plus a red candle close, kind of somewhere closed below this 1490 level, to indicate potentially that we're going to get a sell-off, like something similar to maybe like this candle right here. You see this big green candle going into resistance, then we get another red one, immediate rejection, and as you guys can see, we went lower, but we're not getting that here on this green candle. So we closed above previous resistance. The idea is that we want to flip it into support now, basically potentially retest it, maybe like, I don't know, maybe it retests and then it bounces straight away and goes up to this next resistance zone, or maybe it just kind of bobs around on the support level for a little bit before going up. Either one's possible, I would say. We'll just have to wait until this week when the market opens and take a look at it. Excuse me. But in terms of rejections, we would have to hit this wick before even starting to get a rejection. This major wick back here, this is generally how traders look at potential areas to short and long. So you have these candles here, and then you have this wick here. If I was going to short this thing, which I'm not, this is where I would do it. So we're really, really far off that level. We're like about $7 or $8 away from that. So I don't really see this as shorting LTCN here. What I basically see is some people saw the price go up massively and they said, okay, this is getting extended off the EMAs. We'll take some profit and then maybe buy back in a lower price. That's kind of what I'm seeing here. So But again, we'll have to wait for the next week or two to see how this plays out. So going on to BCHG, taking a look at this candle, this is not exactly a gravestone doji, but it's pretty close. Generally, when you get a gravestone doji at the top like this near resistance, that's kind of bearish. Again, I'm not bearish on BCHG, but I do think this is probably due for a pullback. So you can see the RSI is pretty heavily overbought here. We were in this territory before and it did sell off. That doesn't mean it has to sell off, but keep in mind the price is very overextended at this point from the EMAs. So we did have a break bullish out of this flag pattern here and it did go up, but again, we got rejected off of this resistance zone here. So I think it's a little early to say that this area right here between 380 to 417 is going to be, it's a little too early in my opinion to say it could be flipped from resistance to support, especially with this long wick here. I'll give it the rest of this week and update you guys next week as to what I think this is going to do, but it's possible that if it does retrace, maybe we retest this zone between 380 to 413 and head higher from there, or it comes straight back down to this support zone here between 240 to 280, retests the EMAs, and then pushes back up after that point. As far as I'm concerned with BCHG, it looks kind of neutral at this point. It's hard to say if it's bullish or bearish. I mean, the candle is very indecisive. So this is what's known as a doji, basically an indecision candle. Like in simple terms, what it means is buyers and sellers are not backing off, and therefore it's not really picking a direction. So that's kind of what that means for BCHG. Now, if we go into HZEN, as you guys saw when we showed you our portfolio, we do have an even bigger position in HZEN now. So again, you still kind of have this bullish pennant pattern. The target is 219. We pretty much almost hit that back here, but in my opinion, because this keeps moving higher and higher and higher slowly, I think that we're about to have a parabolic move on HZEN. Generally, when you get something like this where it's just like Chop City, but it's moving up, that generally means a squeeze is about to happen to the upside. So I've seen this many times over my years of trading, and I can tell you guys right now that's most likely what that means, especially when it's bouncing off the EMAs like this. But again, we're not super bullish yet. We have to break above basically this $2 level. So the resistance here is between $1.50 to $2. If we can get above that, then we're heading to $2.57 to $2.90. And that would kind of be where we would be heading at that point. So, and I've heard, I do watch some other YouTubers, and I've heard that there's some people out there that think that it's possible for LTCN to hit like $1,500 or $2,000 a share, and BCHG to do like a 50x from where it is right now. That's absolutely possible. I would say when the Bitcoin spot ETFs get released, because Bitcoin Cash and Litecoin are oscillators to Bitcoin, it's very possible that they could go up to those price points. As a matter of fact, I hope they do, because we're all going to make a lot more money if that happens, right? So, but anyways, in the meantime, this is LTCN, BCHG, and HZEN. Hope y'all enjoyed the content. Happy New Year's. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see y'all later. Peace.